People pleasers, loved by others so dearly and hated by the self so dearly. Hi everybody, my name is Abby. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. I'm a brand new YouTube channel and I'm really excited to be here. So thank you so much for giving me your time of day. I have so much I want to unpack on people pleasing. People pleasing for a lot of us, especially me, has been a lifelong disease. I've been way too nice to people to the point where it was for real ruining my life. And I want to just tell you some of the things that really helped me, because I feel like I've turned so many corners in this life on getting rid of these tendencies. And honestly, unfortunately, a lot of it's kind of not controlled, and we just need to talk about building that self-confidence and self-love. And overall, you need to just have some tools and tips and tricks and things on deck that you can use when these situations come up, because usually it all goes wrong when we're caught off guard. Let's be so real. All right, so I want to talk about people pleasing with men. In my life, it's usually strangers with audacity. I mean, all people that like to use others have audacity. Men, women, and those clingy friends that honestly are very difficult to deal with. So we are gonna talk about all of these things. I like to believe that in this life, the universe, God, nature, chemical reactions, if it's not good, then it's a lesson. I recently realized that I was dealing with an uncomfortable situation at university, and I realized this is not bad. It's just a lesson, because once I learn this lesson, you receive more good into your life. So let's get straight into this. Let's talk about how it all starts. I think people pleasing starts from childhood, whether you were bullied, ostracized, antisocial, left out, all those things. I've experienced that. Or maybe your parents, who are good-hearted parents, were teaching you never, ever exclude anybody. And I've experienced both of those things. I think that we as people were empathetic, and maybe we even have some trauma. Maybe we had to people please to even more severe situations like an abuser or something like that. But today, we just need to talk about growing out of that, because girl, that is so last year, and I care about you. And I'm a very spiritual person, and I am manifesting right now that everyone that watches this video is gonna leave this video a lot more healed. First, I want to talk about men. As a female and a female presenting female, I go out and men just with audacity, you know, will give me a hard time, especially if I don't want to give them my number or whatever. And it's usually very uncomfortable. First of all, how do you even say you don't want to give them your number? A lot of the times now, like the men that do this are the ones that just don't take any hints, because I give a lot of hints. I'm very seriously not interested. I give no eye contact. Do not give eye contact, come on. Something I hear a lot about people who are a bit autistic or maybe neurodivergent, and I believe I might be a bit neurodivergent. We don't understand really how much eye contact to give, and if someone is trying to ask you for something that you don't want to give, you need to literally cut that shit out. I'm being so for real right now. I think that a lot of neurodivergent people think that giving eye contact is what you're supposed to do in like a social setting. It really just depends on the situation. So in this case, if it's a guy that thinks you're cute, or even a girl, like someone else that thinks you are attractive, do not fucking look at them in the eyes. Like seriously, that's not gonna help. There's other situations where you do have to look someone in the eyes to kind of stand your ground and tell them to F off. But in this situation, I have a few things on deck that I really like to use. I highly recommend using them too. So for this case, I'll just say, because here's the thing, if you say, I'm not interested, I don't want to, I have a boyfriend, I whatever, all that stuff, they might be like, I didn't even want to be your boyfriend anyway. That's not even what I was saying. And like, they're usually so defensive. And I've dealt with this a lot of times. So I'm like, okay, how can we like avoid that so that they're not defensive? Because once they're defensive, it's like, oh my, I mean, usually when people are being defensive, you can just walk away and like totally ignore them. And I think you could do that at any point in this scale. You could literally just walk away. You could also act like there's some, you know, person advertising some shit to you. You could just say, no, thank you, and walk away, literally. And it can feel robotic, it can feel fake, but as long as you do it, that's the gold. So for me, the best one I use to avoid the defensiveness is to say, I don't have space in my life for any new friends right now. That shit works. I just tried it with my friend. We went to this forest festival here in Eastern Europe, and some guy was just following us around and asking for our Instagrams, and I was like, no, don't talk to him. And it was hard because I don't speak Romanian, so this guy was speaking Romanian. But anyways, my friend spoke Romanian and was trying to be nice and trying to like, and my friend was like, oh shit, I shouldn't have done that. And I was like, I know, but my friend's not the worst type of people pleaser or anything. We just kind of had a moment where we were woken back up again and like, oh. But I told this guy later, because he ended up finding us again, I told him, I don't want any new friends right now. I don't want to talk to you. No offense to you at all, but I really don't want to talk to you right now. I didn't actually look at him. I might have like looked for a second and looked away, like, please. Yeah, like that type of shit. And I think the number one thing that us people pleasers need to remember is that 1 minute, 30 seconds, maximum 2 minutes of pain of speaking up for ourselves brings us hours, days, months, even years of peace. And that is worth it to me. Oh my God, are you kidding me? I will do that trade every single time. And that is also very important to remember. If this person is just not leaving you alone, you have no reason to be nice to them anymore, because this is probably a narcissist. And it's like, wait a second, why are your needs way more important than mine? This applies not only to men, but also to women and your clingy friends. Why are your needs more important than mine? They're not. You don't have to tell them that. One thing I notice with people pleasing is that usually you're like, it's fine, until you explode. And then now look who's the bad guy. Look who's the bad guy now. I've been there so many times. I actually had a moment where I loved burning bridges. I thought that shit was fun. I literally was like in my villain era. I know that might not sound like it right now, but I'm a Libra. And I went from being so amazing and nice and accommodating everyone else's needs to being a villain. I didn't like being the villain anymore. So then that's when the balance starts to happen. Let's talk about women. I recently in university had this experience where a girl came and, oh my God, she doesn't speak a word of English or a word of the language of the country, nothing. And she needed a lot of help. I thought that what I had to do was send a paragraph and be like, I cannot help you anymore. I'm too busy. I can't do it. I am done with you forever. But this is why you need some perspective. I decided to talk to a classmate about it, and he was like, bro, just don't respond for a while. And then when she finally gets mad that you're not responding, just tell her you're busy. You have no idea, that literally worked like a charm. So eventually she asked me, is there a reason that you're not responding to my messages? By the way, she was literally texting that in her language. She didn't want to be the one to Google Translate. She wanted me to be the one to Google Translate. That's very selfish. Why is she expecting that from me? Oh, because I was too nice to her. But overall, I noticed that women can be a little more entitled than men. I feel like women truly believe that others should help them. And then I feel like men will pretend like they're entitled a lot of the time, because it's pretty easy for a man to get shut down in this society than a woman. I think that everyone should be kind. I don't think it's necessarily fair, but you know, I'm just saying. But sometimes, because it's a woman and people are nicer to her, usually it gets out of hand and really narcissistic, and their needs are the only ones that matter to them. Especially as a people pleaser, you need to remember, like, where are my needs? Why aren't they being met? Why does no one care? Another thing about people pleasers is the savior complex. Why do you have to save everyone all the time? Why do you have to be the person that sparks hope and humanity in others? Why? Why is it you? Why is it always you? Aren't you tired? Don't you want people to respect you? Like I do. That's why I fucking stopped. Another thing that really, this one, if this doesn't bother you enough to stop people pleasing, I don't know what will, but no, we're gonna keep on talking about it. Don't you think that when other people are using and wasting your time the way that they are, isn't that stealing? Especially if you're young, they're stealing your youth. They're literally stealing your youth, your beauty. They're stealing it. And if you can't see that, you need to start seeing that, because oh my God, that is full blown receiving something without giving in return. That's not good. Especially if it's at a job and you're already getting paid. You're not getting paid enough to people please like that. Another thing that we need to address is the weakness of the will, lack of willpower. How are you supposed to trust yourself in any regard if you cannot stand up for yourself in these situations? For me, it's like I have a day where I have a lot of chores to do, I have a lot of things to do, and if I am just stuck on the phone with that one friend, helping her with the same breakup that she's had already 15 times before, or like something, helping others when I need to be helping myself, where's your self-trust? Where's your self-love? You are starting to betray yourself hardcore. And it's really, really sad. That's really sad. I am so sorry for you, because I know what that feels like. I know what it feels like to be like, oh, I just have ADHD. I just can't. Oh my God, bro, delete Instagram off your phone, delete all your shit, turn it off. Like, you don't have to respond to people. Just archive the chat so that you don't see the notification if you have some OCD thing going on. You don't owe anyone anything. Sure, maybe you can give things to be a good, valid member of society. You can help others, like if someone with a wheelchair or a stroller, a single mom or a mom out in the streets alone needs some help. Come on, you could be a good person, but don't let other people drain you. That is so unfair. You are brought into this world to fulfill your purpose, and now you're just letting it get drained away, spilled into the sewers. That's so unfair. You deserve so much better. And I don't care how much that job is paying you. I don't care how much that person might be benefiting you. If you are leaving the situation drained, that's an actual problem, and you need to start listening to your intuition and your body, because seriously, that's ridiculous. Another thing is the clingy friend. We have clingy friends in this life. They come, they find us, they circulate. We all kind of got to deal with them, but it really depends on the situation. Usually distance works. Usually you can just distance, like how I did with the classmate. You can kind of ghost them, but especially if it's maybe a child, a cousin that has access to the iPad or like a phone even, because kids are getting phones younger and younger these days. If it's a child, or let's say it's someone that's actually neurodivergent, maybe you gave the autistic guy at school your phone number to be nice and now your phone's getting blown up. Okay, you could low-key block the number if it's actually getting blown up, but what you need to do is actually explain in very concrete, kind details, but stern. You could say things like, I care about you, but this is really distracting, and the more you text me, the less I can respond. Something like that. I do think that honesty can go a long way for people who kind of think more concretely and are, most likely got innocent intentions. But usually with everyone else, the intentions are not so innocent. And even if they are, it is not up to you to teach them. They can get a therapist when enough things go wrong for them in their life. Leave them in the dust. Everyone knows about therapy. Everyone knows about YouTube video therapy, ChatGPT therapy. Everyone knows about how to help themselves. It is not your responsibility to save anyone. Kill that savior complex. That's kind of cringe. You should be saving yourself. And I really, really hope something along those lines got through to you, because that really is one of my favorite and most uncomfortable lessons I learned in the past few years. A fair, kind, true connection should be reciprocal, mutual. If you're giving one step and they're taking, and then you give another step and they're taking, you seriously have to just pause. Think, breathe, focus on yourself. I understand that for you, okay, first of all, like I said before, people pleasers will give so much because they want other people to have hope in humanity. But what about your hope in humanity? What if you just start to think that all other people know how to do is take, and then you get drained, and then all of a sudden you hate your life? I don't know. That's an extreme case. I've been in the extreme case. If someone's just taking, you have to pause. Because first of all, what if they want to give back and they're not actually a leech, and you didn't even give them the chance to give back? If you don't give them the chance, you've sabotaged the relationship, and now the expectations have changed. Congratulations. I've been there. It sucks. It's awful. But you've really got to take some steps back. And also, wouldn't you be curious to see if they'll ever give back or do anything for you? And by the way, saying thank you doesn't count. They should say, wow, you've done so much for me. Maybe I could take you out for a coffee or something. But if all they do is just complain about their boyfriend, their ex, their this, their that, and you know what you're about to get yourself into, then maybe don't accept it. And that's just not the friend for you. You need to raise your standards. It's better to be alone than around leeches. A good heart always seeks to repay to those who have given to them, and even pay it forward. So if this person is not doing that for you, that is not your friend. They might say thank you. They might be so grateful, but that is not repaying. They might call you their best friend, the nicest person they've ever met. They might make you feel like a hero. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the most important information of this whole video I've saved until the end. And I'm so grateful to all of you who are witnessing this right now. This one has low-key put me into therapy because I was so desperate to get to the bottom of it. But when your friends are making you feel so good about yourself, most likely you have a problem with validation. Validation. We all low-key love it, right? I've reached a point now where I don't care if people regard me well or regard me badly. I just want to live my best life. And you have no idea how much peace that has brought me. People and friendships, they will treat you like shit and then validate you. And that's how they get you to stay. So I encourage you now to work on your validation and maybe even get some therapy. I love therapy. I don't go as much as I would like because it does cost money, but I will say that I go a few times a year and it's awesome. Especially when you find the therapist that's actually good. This is not an ad. This is not an ad whatsoever. I think that there's somehow still some taboo around therapy. I don't even know how that's possible, but I love it. It's so liberating to live a life that you live for yourself and not for anybody else. And when someone asks you for a favor and telling them you're too busy to help them, or not responding to the message altogether if it's on a text, you are living for you. And every step you take, I am so proud of you. I'm literally so proud of you. And I believe in you. And I know that everyone watching this video, I have put my healing prayers and energy right here. And I have so much faith that things are just gonna change from now on for you. Thank you so much for watching this video. I am posting once a week right now, so I'll see you next time. Bye.